Welcome back to Productivity Mastery. Thank you guys for following this podcast and for being curious and interested to explore today's topic. And I have a very special guest. Gotta say, um, we met, some might say by accident, some might say it was meant to be. But I was in Estonia this summer for my fourth time being in Estonia this summer, pretty much. And there was open farming day, so to say. This is some kind of a celebration where farms in Estonia are opening doors and people can visit. So we went to a strawberry farm, got some strawberries, and then while we were discovering and exploring where should we go next, we found this interesting place on the map, which was named Hatu Manor or Hatu Manor. And I think one of the things that brought us there was okay, there's something connected with healing and yoga, and there was lemon cake, I believe. It was lemon cake in the in the ad. So we all got together and it's like, hey, let's go visit this place. It was raining, and then we went to this spectacular, magnificent manor, turned into a very spiritual yoga kind of place. We had a great time, and thankfully there was I think there was a yoga session. So our host was very polite and kind to come to us because we were very loud and probably disturbing the class. So he was really kind to come to us and to share his story, and we had this really high frequency conversation. And I was like, I need to bring this guy to the podcast because I'm sure that many people can relate to what he has to say. And I do believe his message, his story is something we all should look into, reflect, and see whether there are some certain changes we can do in the way we live. Because many of the people listening to the podcast, obviously, high achievers, entrepreneurs, people working for companies with high ambitions. So I'm super, super happy to welcome today Henry Mang. Good morning. And my first question is, did you meditate this morning, Henry?
Yes, good morning, Stoyan. Good to be here. Yes, I did. I had a lovely meditation this morning. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. So, Henry, why don't you give us a bit of a context about starting with maybe the story behind Hatu Manor? Maybe give us an overview what that is, and how did you choose to create this fantastic place?
Okay. Well, it's a really nice, grand old sacred place. Looking at the window at the moment, where the almost 400-year linden trees are growing, and the surroundings and the atmosphere of the place is like magnificent, and it's really keeping us here. It's how we actually got here. The place like invited us or took us in their arms. Yeah. Um, the house is nice, really good. Uh, Thick stone walls, and but there's more than just a house. The surroundings is something great, and the settlement itself started here around 400 years ago. But people actually lived in this area already like thousands of years. Yeah, so there's records from this ages also. But we found it like in a magical way. Actually, we were living with my wife at that time in Tallinn, also in a greener area, and we never even thought about big house like this. Manor, what's that? It's just maybe this is for someone else. But we kind of stumbled upon it. The actual story is quite long. We would need like 2 podcasts for that. Yeah, but it was magical, and we just happened to be visiting the place by first seeing the images of the house, and then we kind of were drawn here actually, and eventually we switched houses with the previous owners. So it was all magic.
Beautiful. And could you maybe also share with us, when was the first time you got introduced to meditation, and what was it about it that really fascinated you to make meditation a big part of your lifestyle and the way you live these days?
Well, I believe the very first time was about in when I was in my what we tend to call the midlife crisis, and the in the middle of 30s, when you have this 33, 34, 35 year in your life, when actually I didn't know about this at that time. Now I can tell you much more about it. When just specific years in your life are coming together. It's like we have life cycles in our lives. Yeah, we have 7-year life cycle. We have 11-year life cycle. We have 18-year life cycle. So 7-year, like when kids goes to school. Yeah, now they start to interact on other persons. Yeah, the 11-year life cycle, which is the life cycle of intelligence. So every this cycle ends and new begins, something happens. You cannot proceed the way you did before, and you don't actually know how to proceed. Yeah, how to proceed forward. So when those life cycles come together in a very 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 small time range, like this 3 times 11 is 33. Yeah, and in this era something changes with you, and if you don't have the background of dealing with your own self, connecting with your higher self, with your soul, and some supportive system like meditation, or just connecting with your mind, body, and soul, then you can be in a really tricky place where you just break, and you change your life completely, and you might get even to situations that are not supportive. Yeah, you might get into some really bad habits, or changing your lifestyle, changing your family, for example, because you just think that this can't go on anymore like this. So yeah, and I was luckily introduced to yoga classes. Yeah, so actually my wife did at that time when we were seeing each other, and I went to yoga classes, and I felt the first time something that I couldn't explain. I felt connection. I felt connection to my heart, and this went on and on. I had weekly classes, just helped me, but it wasn't enough. I felt it, and it took like a few months, and then someone from this group asked me, will you be taking the teacher training also? Meaning by that this particular technology has teacher training system that you can go like deeply into knowing this meditations and yoga and breathing patterns and everything. Yeah, and I was like, in an instant of a second, I was, yes, absolutely. So I wanted to go deeper. I want to know more myself. I've never had an idea of, teacher training, I'm going to be a teacher. No. That wasn't for me. I was like, I want to know myself. Yeah. And so I did went, and this is something that started the inner exploration, I would say. This was something that actually changed me completely, because I started to practice every day. And this what it takes to know thyself.
And I'm super curious to explore together where this journey took you, and maybe starting with, the title of the episode is 1,000 Days of Meditation and what I learned from it. And I wonder whether that was a intentional decision that, hey, let me meditate for at least 1,000 days in a row and let me see what happens, or did that happen and sort of afterwards you were like, okay, I now had at least 1,000 days. These are the so was that a conscious decision? How did you choose to embark on this journey?
Well, the conscious decision was to meditate and to find a meditation that would actually do the trick, would actually work for my good. Because why it is that we meditate? It is to break our subconscious habits of that we have patterns in that come from subconscious so that we react in some way in different situations in life. It's like, for example, if you drive a car and someone takes over maybe in an aggressive way, you kind of react. So whether I'm gonna take him, or you might get frozen, like there's some kind of frightening moment for you, because it's not easy to tackle sometimes. So it depends how you react to certain things, or maybe you see the colors of red in autumn, and some might be really happy and some might be really sad, and it's like, what is it? But what's happening is that the patterns or the habits that we have usually develop in a really um, young life in our lives. Like we are really like small kids, and this is when those habits actually evolve. Some are good, some are bad. Some work for us, some don't. And it usually comes from this age that we even don't remember. It depends how our parents or caretakers talk to us, how they interact to each other, mothers and fathers, and we see them. And it's do you know that the way you talk and the way you think, what's your inner voice, the voice that you hear when you think, this inner voice develops in your early ages when your parent talks to you. So the way you talk to your kids, this will develop their inner voice. So this all is affecting your conscious, your subconscious, and your unconscious. Let's not go into that yet, But so So to break the habits that do not serve you. Well, if you have good habits, let them be there. Yeah? But there are some that don't serve you. Yeah. If you react to something like really improperly, or you start shaking because there was uh, constant fear when you were young, yeah, and you want to get rid of those habits, and there are certain ways to do that, and the easiest way is to find a meditation that tackles this, yeah, that deals with this issue. So if you have fear in your life, yeah, this becomes this comes from where? This means that you don't have trust enough to certain things, or trust your own connection to your heart. So this goes into your heart, actually. So you mean, in this case, you would need a meditation that will expand or open your heart. So everything is connected. It was just one example. So by answering your question, I would say that I was at that time I was trying to understanding this whole process. I was trying to find a meditation that would be beneficial to actually have something that I would have, positive effects afterwards, so that whatever issues I have, it will clear them, or if I want to be better in life, it would serve that purpose. So it took me actually really long time to find one, because many of them were like tricky like this or tricky like that, and the the studies were like 1 year long, and in their final months, I actually found one meditation that was really awesome. It was hard to do. It was really physical. Meditations are not like you just sit in the cave and don't move for 10 years. Yeah? It's not like that. And there are different meditations. There are meditations for specific breathing patterns that you actually, you don't move. But there are many where you are moving a lot. And to have good meditation, to have you having the meditative state of mind. Yeah, this is what we are actually trying to connect to our meditative state. So connecting all your getting your heart rate down, getting your psyche into oneness. Yeah, having your glandular system, everything working towards your inner experience, so that you actually can change something. So finding the right meditations, well, it's a process, but actually every meditation work. All of them works. Yeah, they all work. But what I did was I found one, and I just started to do the meditation, and the time at that point was to get at least 40 days meditation, because it was just a particular need that I needed to do 40 days in a row.
How long per day? How many? What's the duration? 40 days at least? Is that
40 days a
15
week.
minutes? Is it 30 minutes a day?
It was 31 minutes a day. So explaining a little bit perhaps the times, yeah. So for example, the 40 days meditation, it's something when you actually get to uh, get to know your habit and tackle this issue, and having this kind of state, meditative state, that you actually break this subconscious habit. You will get into the pores of this problem, yeah. And yeah, what it actually does also is that um, it will break your own habit to uh, break the meditation, so that if you do this 40 days, then it's not so easy anymore to actually break your own meditation, and you will get into the really the issue of the subconscious mind, where the subconsciously the pattern has grown, and you will tackle that. And 40 days is not just something that someone made up. It has actually been there in many cultures. There's different in different ways, in different subjects. You hear that 40 days is important. In some cultures, women are supposed to be with the child after birth for 40 days at least before they can even leave the room. Yeah. So to grow this important connection, this is and also the stories of Buddha sitting under the tree 40 days, the Christ 40 days in the desert, etc., etc. So it's an important number, and the numbers actually grow there. Yeah. So if you would keep up and do a meditation after this 40 days, you continue to 90 days. So at that point, you have broken the pattern. You actually have this new pattern that you do with your meditation to bring something better in your life, or that breaks the old one completely, and this new pattern that you are doing, opening your heart, clearing your aura, whatever you take from your meditation, this will now is going to be written in your conscious. Yeah. And then you can go on from there also. So the next number is 120 days. So you have done 90 days. You just put 40 plus, yeah, to 40 more. Kind of easy, and it actually is easy after that. And in 120 days, it's actually the new pattern is now completely in your life. It's you have rewritten your psyche. Yeah.
I think what you're saying really speaks to me. The more you meditate, and many people using this metaphor of this is like a mindfulness gym, right? You build the muscle and you become more focused and more likely to show up again next day. And I think that's something that I want to explore with you, because I personally, I gotta say, I do meditate, but I've been struggling with consistency. I've never been consistent for such a long period. So I would meditate 3 days in a row, then I'll be on the road, or many people again listening, entrepreneurs, busy professionals, families, all the tasks that are on your to-do list, and somehow you have all the intentions, but you do not manage to keep the consistency, and that's what fascinates me. And maybe if you can share your lessons about that. And as I just to give the audience a bit of a context, you're not a yogi sitting in a you know place just meditating all day long. You're actually a business professional. You are UX UI designer. You are running Hatu Manor. Like you do a lot of stuff, right? It's not you're very much exposed to the normal dynamic business life as well. Yet you have done such a consistent role of meditation. And I wonder, what are your lessons on how do we stay consistent with our meditative practice? And what do you do actually when, I mean, do you have these moments that your mind is tricking you into, why are you meditating? You're busy, you know, do something else. Like, do you have these kind of moments, and how do you deal with that?
Oh yes, absolutely. I had those a lot when I was starting. Absolutely, everybody does. Everybody does. It's not like one is yogi and the other is not. It's not like that. It's this is the nowadays technology that has brought to us, and you can find like so many yoga styles, from the internet or to the local in the local community where you live, that you just go and try one or the other. Um, the trick is to there's a two tricks, yeah, actually. Uh, the first one is the hardest, is to actually a decision to take control of your own life. Yeah, it's a decision like it's the same decision when you press the coffee pot in the morning to take a coffee. Yeah, same thing. You just uh, you just make a decision that I would do something for myself. It's like you shower. Yeah, you take care of your body. What about meditation to take care of your soul? It's just a decision. It's not an easy one because we have habits to get along the other way. Yeah? But this decision that you have to make is just it's just it. It's not easy, but it's gonna. It's the other option is to have real bad experience or breakdown in your life that will get you thinking, "Oh my God, is this the end? Is it something more, or what's going on? The world is ending." And this is something that people tend to turn into their self. They will seek for spiritual life or church or whatever. Yeah, they will seek and turn into spirituality. And yeah, and in my experience, to actually keep up, as you asked, the how to make more than 3 days in a row. Yeah, this is absolutely decision you have to make. And talking to my experience from my experience, it's um, I have tried to meditate in the mornings, in the evenings, in the middle of the day, and it's different for everybody. It's completely different because some are morning persons, some are evening persons. Yeah, and for me, the morning it works. I just know when I have to do something in the morning. What's my what I have to do, or where I have to go, bring the kids to school, go to work. I start my mornings, minus from there, like how much I need to wake up earlier to do my own stuff, to take time for me.
What is your morning routine on top of meditation? Like, how does it look like? Do you have any other mini rituals together with the meditation or before that?
Um, Well, I do some exercises because in Estonia also, and it's winter time coming. It's pretty cold, so you need to be flexible. You need to warm up your body first. Yeah, drink some water and warm up your body before you go into your meditation. And the first long meditation that I had, right, what you put up here, the 1,000 days, it was quite physical, and I didn't need to warm up so much before that because
So is that a
meditation itself.
combination? Is that a combination of some yoga related kind of exercises with the meditation? What do you mean it was kind of physical?
Uh, it's it was one specific meditation that is also good. You find at some point that some are called kriyas. Kriya is like the exercise. Yeah. So it was pretty heavy. It was like most of the time holding my hands up in the air and then moving them. And the point to have good meditation and to bring you into a meditative state is to have your focus always somewhere, but not in your mind, so that you will not start to think, oh, what I'm going to cook for dinner, where I'm going to go after work, till I get to this bus or whatever. Yeah. So and in meditations there are mudras, which are the hand positions, like you hold something in your hands, or moving the hands. They could be eye focus. That could be in your third eye point, in your nose, in your crown chakra, or somewhere. It's difficult to think something else at that point. And there are even mantras that you need to meditate on, either to chant the mantras out or chant them in your mind, so to speak, in your mind. So you don't have time or possibility to actually think of anything. Like, for example, if you go to gym, yeah, do you think when you do the exercise something, what you're gonna cook for dinner? At one point you may, yeah. But if you really get into this feeling of having good exercise, you don't think anything. Yeah. So this your glandular system comes and helps you. Your nervous system comes and helps you. They start to work together, and you will get the feeling, the good feeling, from the exercise or meditation, and your mind starts to shut down. It's not actually shut down, but it's just it doesn't have time anymore.
Right. I've been attended once Vipassana retreat, which for the audience who haven't heard about it is an ancient practice actually created by the Buddha himself. And it was a 10-day silent retreat, which means you leave your phone, you leave any books, journals, and everything else, and it's a 10-day very structured program where you're meditating in time slots, but like hour and a half time slots for maybe 10, 11 hours a day. And you're not allowed to speak, you're not allowed to look anybody in the eyes, to touch anybody. You on your own, pretty much. You can write even, which for me was the initially the biggest challenge. And I gotta say, it wasn't what I thought. It wasn't that that I would be missing. I thought, oh my God, 10 days I wouldn't be able to speak. That's going to be terrible. It wasn't that. There was a lot of other things that came out that were, after the second, third day, you kind of get used to the fact that you're not talking to others. But it was such a fascinating experience. And at the end of this experience, there was so much learnings, and I felt so focused, so aware. In a way, when there was a thought or an emotion coming to my mind, it was easy for me to kindly push it away and remain present. In a way, like we practice for 10 days in a row. Like, think about it, you're going to a physical boot camp and you spend 10 days exercising, eating well. Like, you'll be a lot more likely to go for a run and be really good at it, as opposed to 10 days before, right? So it was only 10 days, and it was fascinating. The level of consciousness, the level of creativity, the level of peace that we generated only for 10 days. So I wonder if you can maybe share with us a little bit about transformation. You did 1,000 days in a row, and what were some of the key benefits and transformations in terms of your consciousness?
Mm. Yeah. Which one of those 1,000 days you mean? Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And this like you said, this 10 days in a silence. This will get to, you take your time out, and you get connected to your own self. Yeah. So it helps. So in my experience, if let's say that the first time I did 1,000 days meditation, the process itself was it was really interesting. I was keeping my journal. This is a good idea. Actually, it doesn't matter if you have meditated like 10 or 20 years already, or you're just starting. It's good to have a journal to just after meditation, just write something. Whatever you had your senses, or you don't. It was just meditation this day. Nothing came up. Yeah, it's also okay. But coming back to those afterwards is actually really good. And also when you think that you take the journey for 40 days, and 38th you think that maybe I will stop because it doesn't work. Yeah. But if you go and look the journal, you might think, oh, it might work. So yeah, the when I did the 40 days, yeah, it was good. It was really like I felt that something is cooking, yeah. And I went on to do at least 90 days because it just felt so good. And if I went and had already done it over 100 days in a row, I kind of had a sense that I already feel this meditation, the effect of it, yeah. And I went on. I thought, okay, now it's easy. I will do 120 days. Yeah, I didn't had, like we discussed earlier, I didn't have the goal to start 1,000 days. No, never. But I was taking like little steps, yeah. And as I found a good meditation, I just went on and on and on. I felt so good. And it has physical stuff, it has emotional stuff, it has really good vibration afterwards. You are, in this energy bubble. And by the time I had done 120 days, I just this was something that is so subtle that you actually you cannot feel it, like, or it's not much has changed. It's just really, really subtle energy. and you just you need to make a decision there. Is it okay? Is it enough? Or you go on and see what happens. So I went on, and everything worked in my life. Yeah, it was um, later. I found out it differently what it actually meant, but at that time, the meditation I chose uh, was to be more successful and so that the prosperity in my life would flow. Yeah, um, and by the time I had done around 640 days, I had a really good feeling that I know everything about this meditation. I'm the I'm the god, you know. Um, and by the 720 something, I had a feeling that it's so. I know everything. I can stop. I really can. But I was just to be sure, I just went on a little bit more. And I think it was around 860 days when I understood that I don't know anything about this meditation. It was like, what am I doing? It's just so deep, and I want to know more. Yeah, and so okay, I was pushing more, and it was, I think, 980 days when I had some kind of sense that I'm close to getting it. What is really all about, what the life is really all about, what's the universe is all about. I was like so close, and yeah, I did reached 1,000 days, and it felt good. It felt really good, and I even didn't stop there. I went a little bit further, yeah, to be really sure. Like, am I getting it? What is it? And I guess it was like 1,102 days when I actually stopped, because at the end there I had few feeling or senses that it's enough. You have done enough. No need to go on. No need to go on. Because what I actually did sense is talking to different persons about the meditation. And sometimes people were asking, of course, what's your practice? Yeah? And by like now also, by talking about my meditation or even thinking about it, I had a clear sense and sensation of the same energy, pouring through my veins, coming up, this Kundalini energy coming up, and I was like full. All my cells were full of this energy in an instant by just thinking about it. And this is something that they call the 1,000 day mastery. That you will master the energies of this meditation, so that it's so deep inside of you that it just you can't take it off anymore. And it was a really interesting time in my life while doing that. As it was meditation for prosperity. Of course, when I was in the first days of this meditation, of course, I was dreaming of big number bank accounts, etc. But it had its own different ways. Of course, the company I worked for, then we made like huge numbers. Yeah, the company had its best times ever. Life was okay, really good. I was renovating the house from inside to outside. Eventually, actually moved here in Hatu. But still, it's not about the prosperity at that time and this meditation. It's more what I learned from it was that it's a trust. It's a trust that I have everything I need at that specific moment when I most need it. And this got me to really picky, I would say. This got me to choosing my next meditation really carefully. And what I mean by that is I understood that for me, there's no point to do any meditation less than 1,000 days. And I started to choose a meditation according what energy, what knowledge and capability I would like to gain in life, what I want to own, so to speak, what I want to accomplish in my life, and understanding where the life is going in this planet at the moment. Quite tricky times. Where I want to be. What is it that would support me by interacting with other people? Some I know, some I don't. Different governments doing some tricky things. And I would like to understand what's going on. I'd like to see people through. I would like to be sure that what I see is the truth. So I would like to see the truth in life. Yeah. That's why it was quite tricky to find the meditation for that. Meditation for myself, but the abilities to understand and see more. And it took a while. It took a few months. Then I actually did find one. And
what is it? Do you share what's the technique or the?
Well, this technique, this meditation is it's called Sudarshan. It's Sudarshan Chakra Kriya that I did next time, the next 1,000 days. This is pretty intense breathing pattern. When you breathe in cycles of 16, and then and then hold the cycle of 16, and breathe out in the cycle of 16. And then also pumping your navel, having very specific eye focus, very specific breathing technology, and plus a mantra. To really study that, I would have another podcast with you too, especially for this. It's not a long one, but to really, I think we don't have so much time to have this really proper way to give you to your audience at the moment, because there are some tricks and information that you really need to do, so you do it correctly. Yeah, but it can be done. It can be taught really easily, actually. Yeah.
And the breathing, definitely something that many of us forget to do properly, even if it's not in such an intense pattern. But maybe, it could be, that doesn't have to be 16 16 16. You can start with, I don't know, 6 6 6 to begin with, and but have this 5 minute or 10 minute in the morning or at the end of the day that you really breathe properly. It has such a huge effect, together with combined with meditation. And you mentioned a few different formats and techniques. For me, so far, Vipassana has been the one I can relate to the most. And I do different ones depending um, on the day, depending on the period. Vipassana, what I like about it, it's very simple, and you basically observe your sensations, and you try and observe them without judging them and get back to your balance, your equanimity. Sometimes you can use a focus point, like as you said, your nostrils. You focus on the nostrils, and just try and observe the sensations there, and just follow your breathing, which is a good way to, especially for somebody who's starting. It's a little bit easier. Um, but even if you do it for a few days, you already see the difference. It's kind of like in again, coming back to the gym metaphor. You're not gonna be, you know, super muscled and full of energy person if you go 3 times to the gym, right? But you still feel this boost. You still feel something, is going on, and possibly in a couple of months you already see some difference. In half a year you'll see some better difference if you're consistent, and it goes on and on. You're a lot more likely to have the desire to go to the gym, and it becomes like a positive cycle. um but I want to finish with a question, just to wrap up this whole episode, related to the business world. As I said, many of the people are very ambitious business people, and how did how has meditation helped you, if it did, to be a better designer and be a better professional?
Easy answer. Uh, I would say that being calm, being present, in being there in a present moment is the key. It doesn't matter if you are behind your desk or behind your computer, or in a meeting, or interacting with with a big corporation online, or your client online. You are good what you do if you stay in present moment. You are connected to your own self. Yeah. And to get to that point is the meditation techniques, or the breathing techniques, are there to help you. And I can give you a few examples in a minute. But yeah, this is something that actually has helped me a lot is that I stay present. I try to be. I'm not a big guru or something, but I am connected to myself as much as I can, as much as I preserve myself and see that I'm there, I'm present. If you are talking to someone, be there, be in that moment, look them in the eye when they speak, and really hear what's behind the words. What's the words, and of course, but what's behind the words? Try to understand them, and if you can stay in focus, interacting to another person in your professional life, or of course in your personal life also, then it's quite easy to also stay in present and be good what you do. Like for me, designing something, or guiding someone to design something even more advanced, or of course in this world we need to think of our customers, like they need to see things, and then not just I'm not just I'm an artist, but I cannot be just an artist. I need to think of the customers also. Yeah, but the some really simple breathing techniques, so you don't need to go to really special yoga course like right away. Yeah, there's something that you need to and can do today. Yeah, there are I would say there are just few breathing patterns that are really essential. The one most simple ones is long deep breathing, where you breathe in from the bottom of your belly. Yeah, you start from there and all the way up. You don't go like straight away to your upper chest, like but you start from below and really slowly expand your lungs, and then you breathe out at the same time, slowly. You can try to do it like 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out, and keep this rhythm at least 3 minutes, and this will calm your heart. You are connected to your heart like in 3 minutes. It's really easy. And you get the calmness. Yeah, if you need to go to a meeting and you are a little bit anxious, do that. It's easy. Then again, at some point, you might feel like dizzy, or maybe too anxious, and you want to get better connection to yourself, or you're feeling like maybe a little bit slow and sleepy, but you need to go and drive. That's really good exercise is actually that we call the breath of fire, which is through your nose, but using your belly, using your navel muscles, so that you press your muscles in while you're breathing out from your nose. Yeah, and the inhale is automatic, and you do it really quickly, like 1 or 2 times in a second. It's something like this. And your belly goes inwards, like it's really, really strong, and gives you clarity.
You do it for a minute, or
Well, this you can do 1 minute. This you can do 3 minutes. There's no actual point to do more than 5.
got it. Henry, it's been such a pleasure having you here on the podcast. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, sharing your energy. I do believe just by listening to you in this high state and this very calm and peaceful but very wise kind of state. Myself and I can imagine also the audience are already feeling in a higher frequency, which is kind of the beautiful thing about this. When you get into a higher frequency, you can actually exchange and share this, and people just by being in your presence are going higher up. To just to wrap up this episode. By the way, there was this. I don't remember who said that, but there was this thing. If you don't have 20 minutes for meditation, then you have to meditate for an hour. I don't remember who said that, but I just want to wrap up with this, and maybe before we close the episode, give you a chance to share where could people find you, learn more about what you guys do, and get in touch if they have any further questions, or maybe there's many people from Estonia listening to the podcast as well. They want to come and join your yoga meditation classes. So can you maybe share where could people find you and get in touch?
Yeah, sure. Well, the simplest connection point will be the Hatu Manor website, the hatu.de. There you can find some courses and yoga classes coming up. We do it not like very often, but frequently. You can get in touch from there if you need some specific connection. I do also the healing work. I do meditative healing, which is like really really something deep. And yeah, I think this would be the starting point. And we have with our wife started like the Hatu Academy, which actually we started like ages ago, 13, 14 years ago, but now it was then the non-profit organization Family of Light, but now it is evolved to academy in Hatu. So I think this is the best starting point to get contact and to see what it is that you need. And yeah, if you don't find any specific course for your needs there, just get a contact and we'll see.
So make sure to check out Henry, check out Hatu Manor, and hopefully with this episode we inspired you guys to maybe start some mindfulness, some meditation, some breathing technique that can help you to be more present, to be more calm, to excel at whatever it is you do. Once again, thanks everyone for being with us. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out Productivity Mastery on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, give us a review, and share this episode with somebody that you find can benefit from it. Thanks once again. And next week, we're going to be back for another episode on a similar type of topic connected to how personal development is going to help us to succeed as founders, as entrepreneurs. So make sure to check that as well. Once again, thank you, Henry, for being with us, for sharing your wisdom. And I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Keep performing.
Thank you, Stoyan. Thanks for having me. Blessings.
Pleasure.